Friday morning, the 15th of August. Welcome to BBC One. It's 6 o'clock.
Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Charlie State and Naga Munchetti.
Our headlines today.
War has ended throughout the world.
The King will lead the nation in paying tribute to VJ Day veterans on the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War.
Victory over Japan was declared on the 15th of August 1945, 80 years ago, and today, here at the National Memorial Arboretum, a very special service of remembrance will be taking place.
Good morning. It's Friday, the 15th of August. Nations around the world are marking the 80th anniversary of VJ Day, Japan's surrender at the end of the Second World War.
In a personal message, King Charles will pay tribute to those who fought and died in the conflict before attending the National Service of Remembrance in Staffordshire. Our correspondent Charlotte Gallagher has this report.
A sunset ceremony to mark the essential contribution of the Commonwealth to the Second World War. One of the first national events to mark the anniversary of VJ Day. It was 80 years ago today when millions of people across the world heard the news they'd been waiting for.
Japan has surrendered. So let us join in thanking Almighty God that war has ended throughout the world.
After years of sacrifice, suffering and worry, World War II was finally over. The intense fighting in the Far East and Pacific, which went on for months after victory in Europe was declared, had come to an end. In London and across the UK and Commonwealth, people took to the streets. Celebrations went on for days. King Charles, whose mother and grandparents celebrated on the balcony of Buckingham Palace 8 decades ago, is leading the nation's tributes today. He's recorded a message saying those who fought for freedom shall never be forgotten. The King also talks about the prisoners of war who endured horrific conditions in Japanese captivity and all the innocent civilians whose suffering, he says, reminds us that war's true cost extends beyond battlefields, touching every aspect of life. The King adds that those who fought gave us more than freedom. They left us the example of how it can and must be protected, and how victory was made possible by close collaboration between nations across vast distances, faiths and cultural divides.
You've got some photos there.
The Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, has been hosting veterans at Downing Street, remembering their courage.
Our duty is to honour that sacrifice with every new generation.
More veterans aged between 96 and 105 will be the guests of honour at a service at the National Memorial Arboretum in Staffordshire today. The event will begin with military bagpipers before a 2-minute silence at noon and an RAF flypast featuring the Red Arrows, a Spitfire, Hurricane and Lancaster. This may be the last significant anniversary which veterans of the conflict will be able to attend. Their number becomes smaller every year. The generation that gave so much, so future generations could have freedom. Charlotte Gallagher, BBC News.
Well, the service would take place at the National Memorial Arboretum in Staffordshire later this morning. Our reporter Tim Muffet is there. Morning to you, Tim. Take us through events today.
Yeah, good morning to you, Charlie. I think as those first-hand recollections of fighting in World War II fade from living memory, it is so important that those who were there are remembered. Today will be a very, very special service of remembrance. The King and Queen will be here, the Prime Minister, other political dignitaries, but most importantly, I think, veterans from that Far East campaign. Many who fought, many who served there as prisoners of war, as well. They became known as the Forgotten Army. It is absolutely, there's a lot of determination that they are not forgotten today. There'll be a flypast by the Battle of Britain Memorial flight. The Red Arrows too are expected to fly overhead. And it's really a chance for everyone to remember the terrible, terrible hardships endured by so many. Of course, in Europe, in May 1945, many people felt that the war was effectively over, but for thousands of people serving in that part of the world, it was anything but. So 2-minute silence at midday, but before then, in just under an hour's time, we'll hear the sound of bagpipes, not just here, but also in the Cenotaph in London and at Edinburgh Castle and at other places as well. A lament will be played, a chance to begin this day, a chance for people to reflect and remember the enormous sacrifices that were made.
Tim, thank you.
A national ceremony has just taken place in Tokyo to mark the 80th anniversary of Japan's surrender. Shaima Khalil, our Tokyo correspondent, is there now. Shaima, hello. What was the ceremony like?
A very somber day here of remembrance. Naga, it was 80 years ago that the Japanese people heard their emperor's voice for the first time, announcing Japan's defeat and surrender and essentially ending the Second World War, ushering a post-war era. The emperor's grandson, Emperor Naruhito, and Empress Masako led a minute's silence along with the Prime Minister, Shigeru Ishiba, and other dignitaries. The emperor spoke of the suffering that has been that people have experienced during the war, not just the suffering of millions of people here in Japan. More than 3 million people were killed during the war, but also the suffering that was inflicted by the Japanese Imperial Army on its neighbors. And it isn't a day without its controversy, because I'm here at the infamous Yasukuni Shrine, and hundreds of people have been making their way to pay respect for the thousands of war dead. But along those are also Class A war criminals that have been enshrined here. And to Japan's critics, this is seen as an unrepentant country that still refuses to face up or atone for its war crimes to this day.
Indeed. Shaima, thank you. Shaima Khalil there.
US President Donald Trump and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin are set to meet in Alaska today for talks on the war in Ukraine. It's the first summit of the two leaders since Mr. Putin launched the full-scale invasion of Ukraine 3.5 years ago. Our correspondent Tom Bateman has the latest.